Our lesson topic for today is on understanding stress, including the causes, effects, and coping strategies. Some learning goals to keep in mind. Students will be able to describe the psychological and physiological effects of stress on the body and mind. Students will compare and contrast different types of stress, whether that's good stress or bad stress, and identify their causes in real-life situations. Lastly, you will all be designing a personalized stress management plan incorporating coping strategies. Essential questions to keep in mind are: what is stress and how does it affect the mind and body? How can we distinguish between helpful and harmful stress, and what strategies can help manage stress effectively? Okay, a quick definition on what stress is. Stress is a feeling of emotional strain and pressure, and is also a form of psychological and mental discomfort. Small amounts of stress may be beneficial as it can improve athletic performance, motivation, and reaction to the environment. But it is important to mention that everybody copes with stress differently.
Sorry. Let's talk about. In today's episode, we're talking about stress. Stress can pop up from all over the place throughout your everyday life. But stress by itself isn't necessarily a bad thing. I know. In the right amount, stress can actually focus and motivate you. For example, the stress of a big exam coming up at school can drive you to study harder. However, too much stress or stressors that are too big for you to handle can overwhelm you. Now keep in mind, our reactions to stress are shaped by a number of factors, including past experiences. So if you've been through trauma, it may make it more difficult to deal with the everyday stress in your life. Small stressors may feel overly big to you because they're actually triggering painful memories from your past. If you think this might be the case, a therapist can help you work through those feelings and develop strategies for handling them. Now, understand that stress is unavoidable. It's just a part of being human. But as humans, we also have the ability to manage our stress, allowing good stress to motivate us while developing strategies to deal with the more toxic stress. Some of those strategies include things like planning your day, eating healthy foods, and exercising regularly, practicing deep breathing, getting a good night's sleep, asking for help from friends, family, and teachers when needed, as well as speaking with a therapist or mental health professional. Remember, everyone reacts to stress differently, so it's important to find the coping strategies that work best for you. There will always be some amount of stress in your life, but the key is how you react to it. Managing stress is a skill, just like any other. The more you work at it, the better you'll get. And in time, you'll find yourself so much better equipped to handle the events that life throws at you.
Now, after watching the video, we're going to be doing some peer sharing. What are some of your coping strategies that you utilize when feeling stressed or anxious? I included a couple examples, which can be emotion focused, whether that's journaling, listening to music, meditating, etc., as well as mindful techniques, which deep breathing is a very helpful coping strategy that many utilize. Class, we will be having an exit ticket quiz based on stress types and psychological responses, where at the end of this lesson, you will all be designing and executing a personal stress management plan.
All right, so I'm going to be taking care of our class activity and our exit ticket quiz for today. So for our class activity, we're going to be going over my stress plan. Now, this is going to be something that we can use in the future as well. You can use it over different periods of time. You can use it over a week, you can use it over a month, even a year, multiple years, whatever you think is going to work best for you. We're going to take a look at what's stressing us out. We're going to take a look at how we can fix that, how to regulate it, and how to reflect on that. So, here are instructions. We're going to do this in class. Um, we're going to start it today. We're going to record over a week. We're going to come back next week and we're going to talk about it next week. So we're going to think of our top 3 stress triggers. Just off the top of your head, what's stressing me out, what's making me feel a certain kind of way recently, and write those down. Then you're going to think of about a daily routine change that you can make that can help you manage that. So, making your bed every day, doing a journaling every day, just stuff like that. Whether you're taking a shower every day, maybe that's stressing you out. And then we're going to do 2 coping strategies. And with the 2 coping strategies, we're going to track them each week. So every time that you find yourself doing this thing, or you think that you should be doing this thing, you're going to write it down on the paper. You're going to mark it. I did this many times. I did this many times. And then we're going to come back. And then we're going to reflect on what worked and what didn't, what helped you feel less stressed, what kind of just not necessarily made it worse, but didn't fix it. So for my stress plan, here's my example. My top triggers are tests, social drama, and sports tryouts. So there's tryouts for hockey. I'm stressed out. Am I gonna make it? Am I not gonna make it? Am I good enough? Social drama, it's friends having drama in their own lives or having drama with each other and me being dragged into it. It's exhausting. It's stressful. And tests, it's not midterms, sorry, finals. Whew, that's even more stressful. Like that's adding on to it. So my daily routine change is the 10-minute nightly planning session. So now I sit down every night and I'm thinking, what am I doing tomorrow? What order am I going to do my things tomorrow? And what's going to make me feel the best? Uh, I wake up, I get dressed, I brush my teeth, I make my bed, I go to work, I go to school. I come home, I take a shower, I relax, I do my homework, I eat my dinner, I hang out in bed, read a book, go to bed. My coping strategies were deep breathing and writing in a journal. Deep breathing, it was more sporadic. I feel stressed, I start doing breathing practices. Writing in a journal, I tried to do every night. Um, and this is going to lead in my reflection. Journaling felt very tedious. I felt like I was forcing myself to write stuff down, didn't really, you know, want to do it every single night. I didn't feel like I needed to, but for the sake of this example, I did it. Deep breathing helped. Deep breathing always helps. It works for some people, it doesn't work for others. Take that with a grain of salt. All right. So now we're going to move on to our exit ticket quiz. For this, it's going to be 2 parts. We're going to have multiple choice and we're going to have short answer. So for multiple choice, I'm going to read off the question. You're going to answer it yourself in your head, on your paper, whatever we're doing. I'm going to give you the answer to the question after about 10-15 seconds. So we're going to start with number 1. Which of the following best describes eustress? Stress that leads to burnout, positive stress that can motivate you, chronic form of anxiety, or a reaction to failure? So I'm going to give you about 10 seconds. All right, so it's going to be B. It's going to be positive stress that can motivate you. Now, what's number 2? Which body system is most directly involved in fight or flight response to stress? Digestive, circulatory, nervous, or respiratory system? I'll give you about 10 seconds again. Right, it's going to be C, nervous system. Now, number 3, which of these is an example of problem-focused coping? Ignoring the issue, journaling about emotion, making a plan to fix the problem, or taking deep breaths to calm down. You have about 10 seconds for this one. All right, that's going to be C, making a plan to fix the problem. Next, we're going to do short answer questions. You're going to write it down and you're going to think about it. Either way, let's get them done. We got A, I want you to define stress. Now, you can define stress in your own words. You can use the example given earlier in this presentation by Jennifer, my co-teacher. You can keep it short, you can make it long, do whatever you want with it. B, you're going to do an example of a personal stressor. So you're going to write down what's stressing you out. I urge for you to do a separate stressor than what we did in our activity, just to make the short answer a little bit harder. So think about that. And then C, I want you to think of or write down a mindful or emotional focused strategy and how it helps. This, just like B, I want you to think of something separate from what we did in our activity. So you could think of maybe like meditating for mindful, something like that. I want you to write down it. And I hope that you guys write these all down in full sentences. It's my final piece for you. All right, well, I hope you enjoyed our presentation, our class, and have a great day.